if you work for 10 years, 15 years building a business and it sells for $300,000, how many years is that going to last you? Not very long. 1 year, 2 years, maybe, right? And so, like, a lot of the guys are stuck saying, well, I got to keep this thing because it pays me 20K a month. If I sell it one time, I'm going to get taxed at 40%. I'm going to clear 160 grand, and that won't even last me. Like, I'll have 1 year to figure out my next thing, right?
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at Lasso do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merritt.
All right, guys, here we go. Another episode of Gym Marketing Made Simple with Blake and Sherman. Today we have a special guest, my man Jeff Smith. If you don't know Jeff, you will after these episodes or two. Jeff, thanks for hanging out with us, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. It's good catching up with y'all. Like we were just talking offline. It's been a while. Been too long.
It has been a while. But we're here now. That's what matters. So I want to start off strictly for me, personal reason. I want to hear about the RVing thing, right? Like I've sort of watched it from a distance, obviously since the origination, but like my wife would do that today if I went to her and said, hey, let's do this. Let's talk to the Smith. She'd be like, oh, I'm in. Me, I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I could do that. So you're RVing like full-time, kids, wife, you guys are homeschooling, all of that. I love it. So what sort of made you like where'd that come from? Like how? Like what? Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it originated. We RV'd we've been full time on the road now for almost a year and a half. Before that, we probably RV'd for 4 years, pretty extensively with our kids. We've had 3 different RVs prior to this one. So we weren't newbies to it. Like when COVID happened, I wouldn't fucking fly because I wouldn't wear a mask. So we were still running masterminds, and so I just bought a drivable RV at that point in time so that we could take our whole family with us on the road, and we just drove to the events I was doing. And so, but Kirsten and I, my wife, a long time ago, before we had kids, had toyed with the idea of living in an RV. And in Houston, we were messing with the idea of doing it. We kind of tossed it around, and then life kind of caught up with us, right? And it never happened. We got seemingly what everybody wants, right? We got the kids, we got the white picket fence, we upgraded houses 5 times or whatever, and moved into the neighborhood to get the school district, and really just did what everybody fucking does conventionally. And we were in our forever home, if you will, in Houston, and thought that that's what we wanted. And then we looked around and we were like, this is not as fulfilling as we thought it was going to be. And like, is this it? I mean, same thing business owners ask themselves all the time, right? They're like, is this all there is? Like, and so we were in Miami and having a conversation, doing some couples planning, and we kind of broached the topic again and said, hey, what do you think about going full time? Because we had homeschooled our kids for 4 years already too. So only one of our kids has ever went to school, and she made it through first grade, I think, kindergarten and first grade, and then the other one's never even made it to school. But fast forward, we decided, let's go ahead and do it. Sounds like a crazy idea, but I think everything is structured the way to do it, right? We had just gotten rid of the gym prior to that trip to Miami. That was one thing that was really keeping us in Houston. And then we had to restructure our businesses and our real estate portfolio and a bunch of other shit. So it took us 10 months to go, like, from that day in Miami to like being full-time on the road. It took us 10 months to execute on all that stuff. Because, I mean, you have to sell all your shit. You have to, like, get storage. You have to operate get your businesses structured so that you can do them virtually.
Yep.
You have to identify what RV you want and what you can live in. And like we had to get ours wasn't even out until January of that year. We went and bought the prototype, and it didn't even go into manufacturing until like late February of that year. And we were living in it by April. So like it didn't even like it wasn't like we went to the lot and got one. And so there was just logistics like that took a little bit of time too.
No, I remember. I mean, like I said, I've been going along. I know all of that. You didn't tell me anything. I really want to know like how this thing, like how, I'm all about that homeschool life. So like that definitely makes it easy with the kid. You can. But one of my questions, this is a personal question: how do you get mail, or do you not get mail? Do you not really need mail? Because I get a lot of junk anyway. How do you do that?
There are mail services, and ours is based out of Livingston, Texas. I think we're going to move our residency to Florida this year. Actually. And so, but Texas has them, South Dakota has them, and Florida has them where you can actually get physical addresses. Because the issue is like a lot of people won't ship to PO boxes, so you can't just rely on a PO box. But this mail service costs us, I don't know, $150 a year. It gives us an address, and then they scan the mail, and you can look at it all. And then if we want them to, they'll package it up and ship it to wherever we're at. So cool. That's how we do it.
What a business idea. I didn't even think.
Yeah.
That's a smart person thinking, hey, people are RV and they got to have somewhere to.
Heck yeah. But we're looking to
solve the problem for everything.
Potentially moving our residency to Florida for a few different reasons. Texas has been good though. I mean, you have to pay taxes in the state that you're a resident of, obviously. Those are the three most prominent states that people use for their addresses that are full-time RVers, though: Texas, Florida, and South Dakota. South Dakota, you have to go spend 1 day there, and you can establish residency.
Okay. Yeah, I'm born and raised in Florida, but I said if I move somewhere, it would be Texas. Yep. Because those are the two greatest states in the U.S. of A. So yeah. All right, man. So with your, I sort of want to jump into your tactical empire, because I've been watching that obviously from afar from the beginning as well.
Yes, sir.
What exactly is that? Who is that for? And how's it going?
It is going great. It's a men's group focused on business and investing, I would say, and families. The 2-second synopsis is we're focused on creating better fathers, better husbands, and making a fuckload of money. That's what we do.
Yeah.
And we do it through a variety of different ways. Obviously, I have a lot of experience in consulting in the business space, so I can help you build your businesses. We also have a full system, which is where the book was from, on how you turn your profits into cash flowing assets, so that those are working alongside of you while you're having good years in business. And then ultimately the idea is we're focused on power, presence, and profits. And like, that's ultimately what we're focused on, right? So power is like how the guy is leading himself. Is he taking care of himself? Like we say, you are the asset type thing. Presence is like being there for your kids during their formative years, not skipping it all, trying to build your businesses. Like, I think we all know what I'm talking about when I'm saying that, like, we can get a little narrow focus sometimes and stressed and anxious about our businesses, obviously. But we're missing out on those days with our kids because they're never going to be 6 years old again. And so like, it's really important to be great husbands and great fathers along the way, while you build these things. And then profits are the easy. I love the finances side of things. It's the easiest side. It's the easiest lever to pull with people, because once you just show them new ways of thinking with regards to infinite banking, with regards to buying cash flowing assets that pay you now when you're in your 30s and 40s instead of when you're in your fucking 70s, like the qualified programs do, it opens up people's optionality too. Like if they want their wife to stay home and not have to go to work, like we can hit that number. Like, what's that look like? We're really focused on being family centric, but also giving the parents the options to kind of do different things than conventionally thought of, right? Kind of like we started out this conversation with, like, we thought we wanted to move to the neighborhood. We thought we wanted our kids to go to these school districts, and we thought that that's the life we wanted to create. And when we got there, we were like, what the fuck? And so but if I didn't have any options, or if I didn't have the ability to pivot and think outside the box, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing. And so, because I think we're really, really, we change our entire identity usually about every 3 years in the current environment, like what we want to be doing, what we're passionate about, our hobbies. And like, so you can't possibly build something that you think you're going to be in for 30 years and not ever have a change of identity. And so it's best to stay flexible and fluid during those good years. When you're making a lot of profit, plow that shit into assets so that when you decide, hey, I don't want to be so much forward facing, I'd like to disappear into the woods and get a cabin. Like, well, good thing we plowed all that money away and we've got $50K a month in residuals coming in, because now I can do whatever the fuck I want, right? And like that's what I want to open guys' minds to. So because we also have a tendency to, our lifestyle expands to meet the needs, right? Parkinson's law. Like, so you start
Absolutely.
you start making good money and you don't sweep it off and nobody calls you on your shit. And next thing you know, I mean, you got $1 million income, but you got $1 million lifestyle too. And
man, I think, I mean, obviously, you know, you and I, we could talk about this all day. I think that's one of the things that I've been, you know, just the way I'm wired, I've been in tune to that. Like my wife and I, obviously you married the right woman. It's a big thing. My wife and I, we're sort of different, right? So me, like I would be okay with, yes, my income has increased. It continued to increase. I'm okay with driving the same car, wearing the same clothes. My wife balances me out because she's on the other end of that spectrum. So we sort of meet in the middle. But I think that has to be talked about more. Like, as you do better, you will naturally, as you should, spend more money. It's okay.
Yep.
But if you feel the same type of stress and choking, making $5,000 a month, and now you're making 50, and you feel the same way, you've done this thing totally wrong. You've done it wrong.
It's so true. It is so true. But I mean, business owners do it though, because like you just suffer so much to get to that profitability point. And like by the time you're there, man, most of us, the natural human nature is like, fuck, I deserve this. And like, and like, it's super important to have somebody in your ear that can say, well, you don't deserve shit. Like if you can wait 2 more years, 3 more years, you can change your entire life for the next 30 or 40 years. And like, that's where people miss the boat. Like, and so that's why I wrote the book. And that's why I think that system is so important. We tell people that you can be financially free in 2 to 7 years working that system based on where you start out with like your liquidity position, and then how much access to capital you have, and then how much you're willing to delay gratification, quite frankly.
That's the good one. That's the one that helped me. Obviously, I'll kick the can down the road forever. But I'm gonna let Blake talk here. But like I heard Andre Rison say this. He used to be a wide receiver for the Falcons. He was like, he said that one of the OGs told him when he first came into the league, because he was buying all this jewelry and these cars, and he was like, the OG told me, hey, you need to slow down a little bit with your money. You can live like a prince forever, or you can live like a king for 5 to 7 years while you're playing. And when I heard that, I had never heard that before. I was like, that's good. Because we see that happen so much, obviously with professional athletes, but with business owners too. Right? You could decide, hey, I'm going to live like a king while I'm working. And then when that happens, when I decide to go in the woods and shoot guns or whatever, now I'm going to have to, like, I just can't even do it for the most part. Most people can't even do it.
Sure.
And they're stuck.
And to your point, like we grew up in the gym space after I got out of the corporate world, right? And so like in that industry, your exits are not fucking 8-9 figure exits. They're not even 7-figure exits. I mean, let's be real.
Correct.
Like, I mean,
Correct.
And so when I talk about the power of choices we're trying to give these men back, it goes into that direct conversation. Like, if you work for 10 years, 15 years building a business and it sells for $300,000, how many years is that going to last you? Not very long. 1 year, 2
Not
years,
long at all.
maybe, right? And so like a lot of the guys are stuck saying, well, I got to keep this thing because it pays me $20K a month. If I sell it one time, I'm going to get taxed at 40%. I'm going to clear 160 grand, and that won't even last me. Like I'll have 1 year to figure out my next thing, right? And so while these guys are doing these businesses that are making less than 7 figures, like, because you can claw off a decent amount of profit in these industries. You can make a good living for your family. You could sweep away 5K a month, and like at the end of the day, if you do that for 5 or 6 years and you've actually got some stuff that's paying you the same amount you're making in your business, then if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I'll give you 500 grand for your business, then you've got choices because you're still making 20K a month, whether you've got that gym or not. And then if someone gives you $500,000 and you just plow that into your investments, you've got a decent nest egg already started. So it may take you from 20 to 30K a month. And then you've got a real viable situation to where you've got choices that you can do some things.
So Jeff, one thing I was going to ask, because I don't know everybody knows your story, but why did you start Tactical? Why did you, we can start there. Or why did you, your background and why you wrote the book? Like a little bit about Jeff Smith. So like anybody that doesn't know you, just like a little bit about you.
Sure, man. Ultimately, I'm a husband, a father of 4 kids under 12 years old. I came out of special operations in the Army. I enlisted in the military right after 9/11. Was in special operations for a while. Then I came back out of the military, went back into the corporate world. I worked for a Fortune 50 company in financial services for 18 years cumulatively. And then I owned a gym that I owned for 12 or 13 years that I ran. And I've been doing business consulting for a long time. Ultimately, the reason that I started the Tactical Empire had a lot to do with like COVID, quite frankly, and the lack of male leadership, I felt like, in the country. I think most of our problems that we're suffering from in the country right now are because we don't have strong fathers in the home. And I grew up without a dad, and so like it's something I definitely focus on. But the more we can help each other, lift each other up, I think it's important. And so that's why, I think our simplified mantra is be great husbands, be great fathers, and make a fuckload of money. Because then the people that I work with have mostly servant hearts. And so like, if I can make them very, very wealthy, their impact is going to be that much more broad, which is it's important to me. Because I know if I empower good people to make a lot of money, they're going to do more good with their money. And I know that's against conventional wisdom because people think that we're just going to stick it under our mattress and not do anything good with it. But the Tactical Empire came into play because I think there's a huge disconnect in financial education. I know a lot of great entrepreneurs who are great at running their business and don't know shit about their finances and don't know what to do with their money. And so we talked about Parkinson's law already. If you don't have a plan for your money, somebody else will make a plan for it, or the universe will, and it'll disappear. And so it's just important. I saw an opportunity to be able to set all these people, like give them choices. And if I could teach them a thing or two about where to put their money and make some suggestions early on in their business, I also, having come up through the gym industry, dude, we were all getting older. There were some people making decent money, but I was like, man, are you going to fucking coach the 6 a.m. class when you're 65 years old? Like, we got to have a plan here. And so that's really kind of the impetus of what it started from. Plus I had like a lot of values conflicts with what I was doing at the time. So
gotcha. For sure. So let's shift gears to the book a little bit. Congrats on being a best-selling author. I saw it on Amazon #1. I know that there's a lot of pillars and things that you have in the book. So tell us a little bit about the book, and then I know people listen to this. You guys can go buy it on Amazon. But is there any, like, if you could say there's the biggest takeaway, and I'm like you said before this, you condensed it down. So there's probably, a lot of things, but if there's one, hey, you're going to listen to this podcast, this is the one thing I want you to take away from this, even if you don't read the book, that would give you some advice to move forward in your, your finances, or, like your book, like everything's focused on fitness, family, finances, and freedom.
Yep.
Like what kind of advice would you give somebody listening?
It's probably twofold. Infinite banking is the absolute single product that will change everybody's lives. When we talk about legacy and we're talking about strong men, right? The reason that I love infinite banking so much is because you go in before you start even building your cash flow assets, and you're paying for your death benefit already. So your family box is checked on that front. And I think so many people kind of abdicate responsibility when it comes to that. Like, if you were gone tomorrow, like, who's taking care of your kids, and who's taking care of your wife, and is the money going to run out? And so, like, do you have sources of income? So, like, I love talking about that product just because I know the power of it, but it does cover that legacy portion of things. And so that's important. But the second thing I would say is, like, understand how to invest in an actual true cash flow asset. Because, like, most people don't understand that, because they're used to qualified programs. They're used to dumping money in the stock market and things like that. The first time that you ever take a certain amount of money and you put it into something and it actually pays you on the first of next month, that sets off a trigger in people's brains, because then you can get in alignment with, like, oh, okay, I put out $10,000. I got $100 back on the first of the month. If I do this, my car payment's $500, let's say. So I know it, because then it's just math. It's just backwards math for reverse engineering what you need. And so, like, investing in things that pay you every month or every quarter are that is how you achieve freedom. It's not locking up your money where the banks are using it. Because, I mean, like, surprise, if you're in a qualified 401k, like, they're taking your money, they're giving you the guaranteed 8% that they tout the stock market's doing for you all the time. But they're going to hold your money for the next 40 years, and they're going to invest it, and they're making 25, 35% on your money. And they're giving you the delta of 8%, right? So they're still carving off 25%, 20% on your money. And so ultimately, it's about taking control over your finances and understanding what you have access to, and then also educating yourself enough, because they keep us dumb so that you do just dump your money in there. That's why you're penalized for not auto join. That's why most corporations auto enroll you in 401ks, because it's good for the business and it's good for the 401k plans, right? And so the more control we can take over our own money and our own, like, nest egg, the more options you have with your life, and the more free you are ultimately.
Awesome. Sherman, buddy.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, that's good. Jeff, so as you help, these men specifically, let's talk about, like, what, like, someone listening to this, they're like, man, that sounds good. I'm sort of interested. What are one or two problems that you see consistently when guys first come into the fold, right? So that these guys that are listening, they're like, oh, he's definitely talking to me now. If they were like, I don't know. But then, so what are one or two things that you see when many guys come into the fold, they're going to have, probably one or two of these issues?
Yeah, generally they're kind of stuck or stagnating, whether it's in business or in life, like, because we try to expand in all areas, because usually there's a deficiency in one area or the other, because you're focused on, you're overly focused in one area, right? So, like, you're going hard at business, your family's suffering, right? You go make millions of dollars and your wife fucking left you and moved out with your kids while you were preoccupied, right? Like, that's what we're avoiding. And so we're or like the guys that we talk to a lot of times are like, well, I've got to this level, but I don't know how to like unlock the next level. Like we've created this life that's seemingly comfortable, but I know there's more and I'm meant for more. I just don't know how to like get to the next level and see it and expose it and then stay in it. Because one of two things: they don't know how to open their minds to get to the next level, or they keep elevating to the level, touch it, and then return back to where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
Which is happens all the time too, right? You have your best year ever, and then next year it's a 30% haircut, and because of like you didn't grow into the man that is capable of like living at that stage, right?
Yeah, no, I like that because I think that I believe that's one of the, like, you know, we're all entrepreneurs here, with having some level of success, whatever that is, right? Like you get to new levels. What happens is a lot of times, like you said, you'll get to a certain level and you can sustain that for a year or two, but you can't sustain it long term. That's why a lot of times we see like people are always sort of confused when someone grows they grow a company from scratch, grow it to something major. Then the guy that started it, he ends up just becoming on the board. He's no longer the CEO. To me, that guy is very smart because he understands, hey, I don't know how to really do this, but I make enough money where I can bring all these people in and they can take this thing to a next level and I'll still benefit off it. But I think a lot of entrepreneurs, their pride sort of stops them from moving out of the way, right? Like it's okay moving out of the way, move on to something else, get out of the way. But if, like you're saying, if you get to a certain level and you figure out that like, I just can't, or I just don't want to level up to that area, well, you have to probably take a little haircut, like Jeff said, for a little while to get to where you want to be long term. But I believe that's sort of next level thinking for many small business entrepreneurs.
Well, most of the time they're just trying to keep their business afloat and they're just trying to get the next sale. And like, so we focus really hard on like your vision, because most of the time, like these entrepreneurs we're talking to, these business owners we're talking to, they can't get the space or distance to get any clarity on what a vision might be. Like you'll talk to these gym owners in your space and be like, hey, I don't know anything else. I've been doing this for 15 years. This is what I'm going to be doing. And like, it's because they won't take a vacation. They won't disconnect. They couldn't conceivably think of doing anything else. And ultimately that's fine. But like, I'm all about living with intentionality. And then like every single person in the tactical empire has their own like roadmap of the way they want things done. Do you want to scale your business to $10 million? Like most people are gonna be like, fuck no. I don't want all the problems that go along with that. I don't want the staff necessary to take it to that level. And that's okay. We just need to know that. And then how do you carve off a good, solid salary that's going to take care of the lifestyle that you're looking for? And so it's about getting clear on that and not just allowing kind of your path to be dictated by outside forces. Meaning that you're never spending the time figuring it out. So you are just like being led in that direction because you won't sit there and think about like, man, I'd like to do something different with my life potentially.
Yeah. No, that's good. Okay. So, Jeff, this is going to be a 2-part series, of course. If someone wants to get in contact with you, right? Yep. They want to get in contact with you. Hey, I want more info. I'm thinking about joining. How do they get in contact with Jeff Smith?
Best way to contact me is Instagram for sure. It's Real Jeff Smith at Instagram. And then I DM people all day on there. So like that's actually me messing with it and not Facebook gets like, if you message me on Facebook, I'll respond, but like some of those get hidden or whatever. It's a little more difficult to speak directly. But yeah, Real Jeff Smith or anything through the Tactical Empire. We're on all the platforms. So I'm happy to help.
All right, perfect. So we'll end this episode here, guys. As always, Jeff, thanks for hanging out with us, and we're gonna get ready for episode 2. Guys, make sure you tell a friend to tune in, and we will chat with you guys next week.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoy. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to lassoframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.